What's up, everybody? Crash here. Welcome back to Crash Against the Spread, where we talk about sports from a betting perspective. We are coming off a 1-1 night. We hit our WNBA pick. That was the over 169 in the Mercury Liberty game. Got to 192. 192 is what it got to. So easy win there. We also had New York in a parlay. That didn't come through for us. Phoenix won outright 99-93. So Phoenix fully healthy is a bet on team is what that tells me. So don't know what happened to the Panthers. I expected them to win coming back home, and Edmonton got them 5-3. Looking at the next game, this is where you think Florida can't possibly lose 3 in a row, and I'm sure Edmonton is going to be favored, so the plus money is going to be on Florida, and that's where I might be. But if there's a game 7, I'll be ready for that too. So more of a Panthers fan than a hockey bettor. So. Getting into it though, and I will be paying attention to that as it comes. Looking at the other game, we had the under in the Sparks Sun game, and the Sun did not cover. So Sparks are figuring some stuff out, starting to cover some of these big numbers. So anything under or over 10, we should probably look towards the Sparks first and foremost. But under did hit, over hit on the other game. None of my parlays came through, but I did get my solo bet. So on to today, we have 3 games in the WNBA. The Mystics and the Fever are up first. Mystics are on the road. Indiana is the 5-point favorite at home. Totals at 167. I like the over in this game. They did bump up the total from the last time they played. They played a 161 total on June 7th. Final score was 85-83. Fever. Washington was 3.5-point home underdog, so they covered. There was a 2 and a 2.5 early, so it kind of depends on what you did get. But they didn't cover by 2.5. I remember that game. So Washington covered that game, and since then, Washington has covered every game since then. So they covered against the Liberty as 15-point favorites. They lost by 5. They covered against the Dream as 6-point underdogs. They won outright, and they just beat Chicago Sky outright by 2 as well. So Indiana, on the other hand, since that Mystics game that they won by 2, they're coming off a Connecticut Sun loss, and then 2 outright wins to the Dream and also the Sky. So they're also scoring a little bit more, except for that Connecticut Sun game. They have 91 points apiece in the last 2 games. And I think against a Washington Mystics team that's allowing 82 points a game, they can get over that total as well. And Indiana doesn't play a lot of defense either. So I would also lean on the Mystics to cover the spread this time around. Spread's up to 5 in a lot of places. I do have a 4.5, full disclosure. But I'm leaning on the Mystics plus 5 and the over 66.5 of the first game. Second game up, we got the Atlanta Dream versus Minnesota Lynx. Lynx are 11-3, 10-4 against the spread. And Dream are middle of the pack, 6-6, 5-7 against the spread. Totals all the way up to 10, though. That's the part I don't like. So, looking at their last game they played was on the 26th of May, one of the first couple games of the season. Lynx won 92-79 as 4-point favorites. Right? Or were they 4-point underdogs? It might have been 4-point underdogs. That might have been the very, very first game of the season then. Fourth game of the season. But they hadn't played anybody yet, so they didn't know whether this team was good or bad yet. They had played the Sparks, the Mercury, and the Dallas Wings, and they were 2-1 at that point. So, just curious. So that was the fourth game of the season. Minnesota won 92-79. Nowadays, we know who the Dream are. We know who the Lynx are. This number is all the way up to 10 because of it. They won by 13 last time. I think that 10 is high for this game. So, going to stay off the spread. I do like the under 161.5 in this game, though. So, that's where I'm going to lean, under 161.5 for the Dream and the Lynx. Third game up, we got the Seattle Storm and the Las Vegas Aces. Seattle started off the season 1-4. They had 2 games against the Lynx that they lost. Second one they lost in overtime. They won the third game against the Mystics, and they lost the fourth game against the New York Liberty. So, 2 of the 3 best teams in the league is how they started off their season, and they ended up 1-3. Since then, they're 8-2. 7-3 against the spread. So, Seattle has been a bet-on team since that point. And the Aces, I think, are more on the other side. In their last 10 games, they are 4-6 straight up and 3-7 against the spread. So, as the league champions, they do probably play to a bunch of higher numbers because of their reputation from last year. But at this point, what we're looking at here is them still favored by 6 against a team that's won 8 out of their last 10 games. So I'm going to lean on the Storm here, plus the 6, and also the over. Vegas has been letting everybody score at least 90 to 100 points on them in the last 4 games. So that's where I'm going to roll. Over 171 and Seattle Storm plus 6. So if I had to pick a favorite, I'd be leaning on the Mystics, and I'd be leaning on the Storm. So those are going to be my picks. Lock those in. Let's get this money, and we will be back tomorrow to talk more WNBA.